You'd be amazed how many men in their 60s quietly believe their best years are behind them. They tell themselves slower mornings, weaker energy, and fading drive are just part of aging. But what if I told you that a small, simple handful of specific nuts, something you could add to your breakfast tomorrow, could help restore the kind of blood flow that once made you feel unstoppable? This isn't a marketing gimmick or another miracle pill. It's pure biology. In fact, recent clinical research from the University of Texas found that men who consume just 4 particular nuts daily experience measurable improvement in vascular performance within weeks. And no, these aren't the common salted mixes you find at the store. These are performance-boosting powerhouses most men overlook entirely. Before I share exactly which ones, I want you to picture something. Imagine standing up in the morning and feeling light, steady, and alert. Your circulation strong enough that your hands, your feet, and yes, other vital areas feel fully awake again. Because when blood moves freely, confidence follows. That's what we're unlocking today. Now, I'll start with the nut that almost no one talks about, yet it can be a quiet circulation hero for men after 60. It's the humble pistachio. The shell might look ordinary, but the compound inside, arginine, is anything but. Arginine converts into nitric oxide, the gas your arteries rely on to relax and widen. It's what allows blood to flow smoothly through every small vessel in your body, including the ones most responsible for performance. Here's what most men don't realize. After 60, your natural nitric oxide production drops nearly 50%. That's one reason even healthy men notice slower recovery or weaker stamina. But eating pistachios regularly can nudge that process back up. In one small clinical trial, men who ate them daily for just 3 weeks showed improved endothelial function, the inner lining of the arteries that keeps them flexible. One of my patients, a 71-year-old retired pilot I'll call Mark, came to me frustrated. His lab work looked decent, but he couldn't understand why his energy and responsiveness were fading. Instead of reaching immediately for medication, we adjusted his nutrition, starting with a daily handful of pistachios and a simple breathing routine to enhance nitric oxide. For weeks later, he called laughing, "Doc, something's definitely working again." It wasn't a miracle. It was chemistry, his body finally remembering how to perform when given the right raw materials. But pistachios are only the beginning. The second nut on my list is what I call the artery repairer, walnuts. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids and alpha-linolenic acid, which help reduce inflammation inside blood vessels. Think of inflammation as rust forming inside pipes. It narrows the passageways. Walnuts scrub that rust. Now here's where it gets interesting. A Harvard review found that men who ate walnuts at least 4 times a week had significantly better endothelial flexibility. Translation: the arteries could expand and contract the way they're supposed to, which is crucial not just for heart health, but for everything that depends on strong circulation downstream. But men over 60 often tell me, "Dr. Anderson, I've tried eating better, and nothing changes." That's because the sequence matters. If you combine walnuts with a source of vitamin C, say, half an orange or a bit of kiwi, the vitamin C prevents the omega-3s from oxidizing, allowing your blood vessels to actually absorb the benefits. That's the kind of fine-tuning that separates real improvement from just wishful thinking. And speaking of fine-tuning, I want to touch briefly on something deeper. When men begin losing circulation efficiency, it's not just physical, it's emotional. I've seen proud, capable men withdraw quietly, avoiding intimacy or activities they once enjoyed. They don't complain, they just fade. If that's you, I need you to hear this. Decline is not destiny. Your body still has the machinery. It just needs the signal to wake it up again. That's why the third nut might surprise you. Brazil nuts. Most people eat them once a year, maybe in a holiday mix, and then forget they exist. But 1 or 2 Brazil nuts can completely change your selenium status, a trace mineral vital for testosterone metabolism and blood vessel integrity. There's a fascinating link here. Low selenium is associated with reduced glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. Without it, nitric oxide breaks down faster, and blood vessels stiffen. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day gives your body enough selenium to restore that balance. But here's the catch. More is not better. Selenium can become toxic in high doses, so stick to 1 or 2 a day, no handfuls. A few months ago, I worked with a 64-year-old man named George who struggled with nighttime cramping and fatigue. Blood tests showed his selenium levels were low. I added Brazil nuts, improved his hydration, and rechecked him a month later. His cramps were gone, his morning energy was back, and he told me his wife noticed something else improving too. Now, I can sense your curiosity. What's the 4th nut? And this one ties everything together because it fuels endurance, supports hormone balance, and nourishes blood vessels all at once. It's almonds. But not roasted, salted, or coated versions, raw or dry toasted almonds with the skin on. Almonds provide vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats that your arteries use as protective armor. Magnesium especially is a game changer. Studies show over 70% of older men are deficient, leading to fatigue, poor sleep, and impaired vascular tone. Almonds can quietly fill that gap, improving both your daytime stamina and nighttime performance. Here's a small trick I often recommend. Soak 6 to 8 raw almonds overnight in water, peel them in the morning, and blend them with half a banana and a teaspoon of raw honey. Drink that mid-morning or before your walk. The natural sugars deliver instant energy, while the soaked almonds' nutrients absorb faster. Now, before we go deeper into how to combine these nuts strategically for maximum benefit, I want to pause for a second, because understanding what works is only part of the equation. Doing it consistently is what transforms you. And if you've been searching for a clear, science-based routine to restore your vitality, you'll want to check out something I put together for my patients and viewers called the Complete Sexual Health Blueprint for Men Over 50. It's a detailed guide that lays out how to support testosterone, circulation, and stamina using natural foods and lifestyle strategies. You can grab it using the link below this video. It's practical, evidence-based, and I made sure it's easy to follow without supplements or gimmicks. Now let's talk about how these 4 nuts actually work together. Because synergy matters. Each one targets a different bottleneck in the male circulation system. Pistachios improve nitric oxide release. Walnuts reduce inflammation. Brazil nuts boost selenium for vessel elasticity. Almonds supply magnesium and vitamin E for recovery. When you rotate or combine them across the week, you create what I call a microcirculation loop, a natural rhythm of nutrient support that keeps blood moving efficiently through every tissue. Most men notice the difference first as warmth in their hands and feet. Then comes the improved morning energy, better focus, and finally, stronger performance and confidence. These are tangible markers that your vascular health is rebounding. But I need to warn you, not all nuts are created equal. The roasted, salted, or sugar-coated versions sold in bulk bins can sabotage your progress. The high sodium and oxidized oils harden arteries. The exact opposite of what you want. Always choose unsalted, raw, or dry roasted. Keep them in a cool, dark place. Light and heat degrade their healthy fats. At this point, you might be thinking, alright, Dr. Anderson, this sounds simple enough, but can eating nuts really make that much difference? The answer is yes, when you understand the mechanism. Circulation health is like electricity. You don't always notice when wires are corroding until the lights start flickering. By the time major symptoms appear, your body's already been signaling for years through fatigue, slower recovery, or lack of drive. The right foods can restore that current before major damage sets in. Now, here's a curiosity you'll appreciate. In Mediterranean populations where nuts are a staple, men maintain erectile health up to 20 years longer on average than Western men who rely on processed diets. That's not coincidence, it's circulation chemistry at work. Their arteries stay supple because their diet constantly feeds nitric oxide pathways and antioxidant defenses. When I explain this to my patients, they often say, "Why didn't anyone tell me this 20 years ago?" Because modern medicine is trained to treat symptoms, not performance loss that starts quietly in your 50s and 60s. But here's the empowering truth. Even after 60, you can reverse a surprising amount of that decline. Blood vessels respond to change at any age. Within 30 days of improving your nutrient intake and circulation habits, measurable improvements begin. Better oxygenation, more energy, and restored vascular tone. I've seen it repeatedly. The next question I usually get is, how much should I eat and when? Great question, because timing affects absorption. The most effective window for circulation benefits seems to be late morning or mid-afternoon, when your insulin levels are stable. About a small handful, roughly a quarter cup total, is enough. Rotate varieties across the week rather than eating the same one daily. That prevents nutrient imbalances. And because magnesium, selenium, and omega-3s can all interact, cycling ensures you stay in the sweet spot. Never too little, never too much. Here's a small daily rhythm one of my viewers shared after following my recommendations for 2 months. Monday/Thursday pistachios. Tuesday/Friday walnuts. Wednesday/Saturday almonds. Sunday 1 or 2 Brazil nuts. He told me, "Doc, I feel lighter, my sleep is deeper, and I actually look forward to mornings again." That's the quiet reward of consistency. You don't just regain performance, you regain self-trust. When men start feeling those improvements, something deeper happens. It's not just about circulation anymore. It's about the return of confidence. The kind of quiet, steady confidence that changes how you walk, how you talk, and how you show up in your relationships. I've seen men who hadn't smiled in years walk into their next appointment standing taller, eyes brighter. Their wives usually notice first. That's because when blood flow improves, oxygen delivery improves, and your brain gets clearer, you start sleeping better. You start wanting to move again. It's the same biology that drives performance. It's just manifesting in your daily energy. I want you to really absorb that idea. Improved circulation isn't just about intimacy. It's about aliveness. But I know some of you might be thinking, I've already tried changing my diet before. I didn't feel much different. And you're right, most men don't feel changes because they never combine the foods in ways that activate what I call the vascular switch. You can eat all the right nutrients, but if they're not synchronized with your hormones, your body can't use them efficiently. That's why I often recommend a simple morning activation habit. Before breakfast, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 2, and exhale through your mouth for 6. Do that 5 times. It sounds trivial, but that breathing jumpstarts nitric oxide release in your nasal passages. When you then eat your pistachios or almonds, you're stacking 2 circulation boosters at once, oxygen and arginine. A small clinical note here. In older men, nitric oxide availability tends to fall not just because of age but because of oxidative stress, essentially internal rusting. That's where vitamin E from almonds and selenium from Brazil nuts become essential. They shield nitric oxide molecules, so they last longer inside the bloodstream. That means better, longer-lasting vascular flexibility. You see how the pieces connect? That's the part most people miss. It's not one ingredient, it's synergy. Now let me circle back to something I mentioned earlier. Emotional connection. When men start losing circulation efficiency, they often stop talking about it. They'll say things like, "I'm fine," or "I'm just tired lately." But what's really happening is silent frustration. They don't want to admit they feel less in control of their body. I've heard that from hundreds of patients over my 25 years of practice. But I want to share something powerful I've observed. When a man takes even one step toward reclaiming his health, his entire demeanor begins to shift. His energy follows his decision. I remember one man, a 67-year-old named Thomas, who told me, "Doc, I didn't realize how much I'd given up until I started feeling better again." That line stayed with me because it captures what this is really about, reclaiming yourself. And that's what I hope this video helps you begin. One simple, daily step back toward your vitality. Now, since we've covered the 4 nuts and their specific benefits, let's put them into a weekly framework that's easy to follow. Think of it as your circulation meal map. In the morning, start with a light meal that includes one of the nuts of the day, pistachios, walnuts, almonds, or Brazil nuts, paired with fruit or yogurt. Keep your portion moderate around 30 grams. If you prefer something savory, chop the nuts and sprinkle them on eggs or oatmeal. The goal is steady absorption, not calorie overload. Then mid-afternoon, when most men hit an energy slump, take a short walk, just 10 minutes, and have a small handful of a different nut type. That timing supports blood sugar control and ensures a second nitric oxide boost later in the day. Over time, you'll notice fewer dips in focus and steadier physical energy. Remember, Circulation improvement is cumulative. It builds quietly week by week. You might not wake up on day 3 feeling like a teenager again, but give it 3 or 4 weeks, and you'll notice subtle but undeniable shifts. Fewer cold hands, easier movement, clearer thinking, stronger presence. Now, while nutrition is foundational, there's one factor most men underestimate: the impact of chronic tension. Stress chemistry constricts blood vessels faster than anything you eat can open them. So if you truly want your body to respond, pair this circulation routine with short relaxation cues throughout the day. Stretch, breathe, or even step outside for sunlight. It sounds small, but those micro moments of calm allow your arteries to open naturally. And that's exactly what I teach in greater depth inside my guide, The Complete Sexual Health Blueprint for Men Over 50. It's not just about what to eat. It's how to combine foods, breathing, movement, and sleep patterns so your hormonal and circulatory systems actually work together again. I wrote it because so many men were guessing, mixing random supplements, and feeling no better. This blueprint removes the guesswork. It's the same protocol I use with private clients, and for a limited time, you can still get it using the link below before it's taken down for updates. But even if you never download a thing, I want you to walk away today with one truth. Your energy, stamina, and performance are not gone. They're simply waiting to be reactivated. Your body is designed to regenerate when given the right inputs. Now, I want to leave you with something that might surprise you. According to research from the Mayo Clinic, vascular health at 60 can improve faster than at 40 if you start feeding your endothelium correctly. Why? Because by that age, most men have finally eliminated the habits that constantly caused inflammation earlier in life. So even small changes, like a handful of the right nuts, produce faster returns. That's your biological advantage. I call this aging in reverse. Not because we turn back the clock, but because we slow the damage and let the body reveal the strength that's still there. When circulation improves, testosterone becomes more available, oxygen uptake rises, and you start feeling the momentum again. One of my favorite quotes to tell my patients is, "Vitality isn't about how many years you've lived, but how fully your blood still moves through you." That's the measure that matters most. Now, before we close, I want to give you a simple test you can do tonight to gauge your vascular flexibility. Stretch out your hand and press your thumb firmly against the center of your palm until the skin blanches white. Release it and count how long it takes to return to normal color. If it's more than 2 seconds, your microcirculation could use a boost. Add your nuts, hydrate well, and test again in 3 weeks. You'll likely see faster color return. That's progress you can literally see in your own hands. Let's be honest, aging can feel unfair at times. The body slows down, but the desire to feel strong, active, and connected never disappears. You deserve to enjoy those things without embarrassment, without feeling broken, and without expensive prescriptions that just mask the issue. And that's why I make these videos, so men like you have a trusted place to learn real, science-backed strategies that work naturally with your body, not against it. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to reclaim your drive, your clarity, and your strength, then I want to personally invite you to subscribe right now. Because every week I share more natural, practical strategies to help you stay strong, confident, and vibrant long after 60. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. In my next video, I'm breaking down a powerful morning ritual that takes less than 3 minutes, but can significantly raise your nitric oxide levels before breakfast. It's simple, it's science-based, and it amplifies everything we talked about today. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It ties perfectly into this circulation protocol.